Emma and Daniel's marriage had always been steady, the kind of calm relationship built on shared breakfasts, weekend chores, and quiet love. After 7 years together, they had learned to find peace in the ordinary. Daniel worked as an architect, practical, patient, a man who preferred structure. Emma, a freelance illustrator, thrived in color and spontaneity. Together they were balance until the day her sister Lily called in tears. Lily was the opposite of Emma in every way, fiery, impulsive, and emotional. She had just lost her job and been kicked out of her apartment after a messy breakup with her boyfriend, Ryan. The details were ugly: betrayal, manipulation, and words that left scars. Emma's heart ached for her. Despite their differences, Lily was still her baby sister, fragile beneath the chaos. Without hesitation, Emma said, "Come stay with us. You'll be safe here." When she told Daniel, he hesitated. "You mean for a few days?" he asked. "Just until she finds her footing," Emma promised. He loved Emma deeply and rarely denied her anything. Still, he remembered the last time Lily had stayed with them. Loud music, late nights, and emotional outbursts that had turned their peaceful home into a whirlwind. But when he saw the pleading look in Emma's eyes, he sighed and agreed. The night Lily arrived, clutching her suitcase and a half-empty coffee cup, Emma felt both relief and fear. Relief that her sister was safe. Fear of what might come next. Lily tried to smile, but her eyes were red and hollow. "I'm sorry for being a mess," she said softly. Daniel, standing behind Emma, offered a kind smile. "Your family," he replied. "That's what we're here for." In the days that followed, Lily settled into the guest room, sleeping late and wandering around in Daniel's old shirts because they were comfortable. She would sit at the breakfast table in silence, lost in thought. Emma tried everything to make her feel better, painting together, watching old movies, but nothing worked. One evening, as Emma and Daniel were cleaning up after dinner, she looked at him thoughtfully. "Can I ask you for a favor?" she said. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Of course. I need you to help her," Emma said. "Not just with money or space, but emotionally. She doesn't trust men anymore. She needs to see that not all of them are like Ryan." Daniel frowned, unsure. "What do you mean, help her?" "Just be kind. Talk to her sometimes. Make her feel safe again." "You're good at that." He hesitated, but finally nodded. "If that's what you want," Emma smiled, relieved. To her, it was an innocent request, a sister's plea to heal another's broken heart. But as Daniel watched Lily quietly tracing patterns on her coffee mug the next morning, something in him stirred. Not attraction, but compassion, deep and dangerous in its quiet power. Neither of them knew then that Emma's simple favor would change all three of their lives forever. In the beginning, Lily's presence felt like a small spark in a quiet home, a new voice echoing down the hallway, laughter that filled spaces long silent. She brought energy, spontaneity, and warmth that Daniel hadn't realized he'd missed. Every morning, he would find her in the kitchen, barefoot and sleepy, trying to make coffee but always spilling some on the counter. He'd tease her gently, and she'd laugh, a sound that reminded him of youth, of something unguarded and real. Emma noticed the change too, and at first it made her happy. She saw her sister smile again, sketching in the living room, humming softly as sunlight poured through the curtains. The broken version of Lily, the one who had arrived with trembling hands and tear-streaked cheeks, seemed to fade. Emma believed her plan was working. Daniel was patient, kind, and protective, just as she'd hoped. But slowly, something subtle began to shift. Daniel and Lily's interactions became effortless, natural, too natural. Their conversations grew longer. When Daniel came home from work, Lily would already be waiting in the kitchen, asking how his day was. Sometimes Emma would walk in to find them laughing over an inside joke she didn't understand. Other times, she'd notice how Daniel's tone softened when he spoke to Lily, how his eyes lingered, not with desire, but with concern, maybe admiration. At first, Emma ignored it. After all, Daniel loved her. He had always been loyal, dependable, and grounded. But jealousy is a quiet poison. It doesn't scream, it whispers. She began to feel its sting in small moments. When Lily thanked Daniel a little too sweetly, when Daniel offered to fix something for her that could have waited, or when Emma entered a room and the laughter stopped. One evening, Emma returned from a grocery run earlier than expected. As she walked in, she heard voices from the living room. Daniel and Lily were sitting close together on the couch, talking softly. Lily's head was tilted toward him, her expression open, vulnerable. "You're the only man who's ever made me feel safe," Lily said, voice trembling. Emma froze. For a moment, the world went silent. Daniel didn't answer right away, his face unreadable, but he didn't move away either. Emma quietly stepped back into the hallway before they noticed her. That night, she lay awake beside Daniel, staring at the ceiling, feeling the first cracks in her trust form like fractures in glass. Days passed, but the unease lingered. Emma became hyper-aware of every word, every glance, every shared smile. The favor she had asked now haunted her. She wanted Lily to heal, but not like this. Not with Daniel at the center of it. Still, when Daniel kissed her goodnight, she forced herself to believe his lips carried love, not guilt. And when Lily hugged her in the morning, Emma whispered, "I'm glad you're better," even as her heart whispered back. But at what cost? The storm came without warning. Heavy rain slamming against the windows. Thunder cracking through the night sky like an unspoken argument. Emma sat in the living room, the lights flickering before the entire house plunged into darkness. She tried calling Daniel, but the signal was weak. He had gone out earlier to help a friend from work fix a flat tire, promising to be home before the storm hit. But hours passed, and the clock crept past midnight. Lily, frightened by the thunder, knocked softly on Emma's door. "He's not home yet?" she asked, her voice trembling. Emma shook her head, clutching her phone. The worry gnawed at her. Not just for Daniel's safety, but for something deeper she couldn't name. The house felt colder than usual, filled with the hollow sound of rain and doubt. Finally, around 1 in the morning, the front door opened. Daniel stepped inside, soaked to the skin, his hair plastered to his forehead. Relief washed over Emma, but only for a moment. There was a strange heaviness in his eyes, something tired, something he didn't say. "Where were you?" she asked, her voice sharper than intended. He exhaled, setting down his coat. "I was with Lily," he said simply. "She panicked when the power went out. She was crying, shaking. I stayed with her until she calmed down." Emma froze. "You were with her? For hours?" Daniel looked at her, guilt flashing across his face. "She needed someone. You were asleep." "I didn't want to wake you." "I wasn't asleep," Emma whispered. Her chest tightened. The room felt suffocating, the sound of rain now like accusations pounding against the windows. Lily emerged from the hallway then, her face pale, eyes red. "Emma, please don't be mad," she said. "I didn't mean to. I was scared." Her voice cracked, and she looked down, ashamed. Emma wanted to shout, to demand answers, but the exhaustion of the night silenced her. She simply nodded, brushing past them both, retreating into her room. Behind the closed door, her heart raced, her thoughts spiraling. Was Daniel telling the truth? Had he really just been comforting Lily? Or was there something neither of them could say aloud? Over the next few days, the air in the house thickened with unspoken tension. Daniel acted as if nothing had happened, still gentle, still attentive, maybe too much so. Lily avoided eye contact, spending long hours in her room, painting quietly. Emma began to notice every small thing. A text from Daniel with no name attached. Lily's nervous laughter when he was near, the way their eyes met and quickly darted away. One night, unable to take it anymore, Emma unlocked Daniel's phone while he was in the shower. There were no messages from Lily, but there were deleted ones. Dozens of them. Her heart dropped. In that moment, it wasn't about proof. It was about betrayal of trust. She had asked Daniel to help her sister heal, and now she wasn't sure who had been helping whom. For days, Emma lived in quiet torment. She didn't confront Daniel right away. She watched instead. Watched how he lingered near Lily, how his voice softened when he spoke to her, how her sister's eyes avoided his but never quite could stay away. The tension in the house was unbearable, like a string pulled too tight, waiting to snap. Emma felt like an outsider in her own home. She had once believed she was in control, that she could heal her sister's heart by surrounding her with love, kindness, and safety. But now it felt as though she had handed her sister directly into the arms of her own husband. It was a Sunday evening when everything finally broke. The three of them sat down for dinner, pretending to be normal. The conversation was hollow, the laughter forced. Daniel asked Lily about her job search, and Emma watched her smile, a soft, grateful smile that cut deeper than any argument could. When dinner was over, Lily retreated to her room. Emma stayed at the table, staring at her untouched plate. "We need to talk," she said finally, her voice cold and trembling. Daniel froze. "About what?" he asked, though he already knew. "About her." "About you and Lily," he sighed, rubbing his temples. "Emma, please don't what? Don't notice what's right in front of me. Don't see how you look at her, how she looks at you." Her words cracked mid-sentence. "I asked you to help her, Daniel." "Not love her," Daniel's head snapped up, his eyes wide. "I don't love her, Emma, not like that. But you asked me to be there for her, to show her kindness, to be the man she could trust again." "I did what you wanted." Emma's anger faltered for a moment. "You knew what I meant." "No," he said quietly. "You don't understand. When you told me to help her, I thought I was doing the right thing. But she needed more than comfort. She needed to believe someone could care for her without wanting something in return. And somehow that made me feel responsible for her pain. I got caught up in it." Emma's throat tightened. "So you did care for her?" Daniel nodded slowly. "I cared. I listened. But I never touched her. Never crossed that line." Silence filled the room. Heavy, suffocating. Emma believed him, yet part of her still bled from the betrayal of emotional intimacy. Sometimes it isn't the body that cheats first. It's the heart. Daniel reached across the table, his voice barely a whisper. "You asked me to help her heal. I did exactly what you asked, Emma. I just didn't realize how much it would break you." Tears burned her eyes as the truth settled between them. She had wanted to save her sister, but she had underestimated the cost, the price of asking her husband to carry another woman's pain, and in trying to mend one heart, she had cracked two others. The days that followed were filled with silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the heavy, suffocating quiet of two people unsure how to find each other again. Emma and Daniel moved through the house like ghosts, speaking only when necessary, their words polite but hollow. Lily stayed in her room most of the time, emerging only to eat or wash her brushes. The air was thick with guilt, shame, and all the things left unsaid. Emma couldn't look at her sister without feeling a storm of emotions: love, pity, betrayal. Every time she saw Daniel glance toward the guest room door, a sharp pain twisted in her chest. She had once admired his kindness, his willingness to help others. Now that same quality felt dangerous, a doorway through which something fragile and forbidden had entered their marriage. One morning, Emma made her decision. She found Lily in the living room, painting a soft landscape filled with light, an image that looked nothing like the darkness between them. "You need to leave," Emma said quietly. Lily froze, the brush trembling in her hand. "What?" "You've been here long enough. You're stronger now. It's time you found your own place." Lily's lips parted as if to argue, but she saw the exhaustion in Emma's eyes and stopped. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered. "I never wanted this." "I know," Emma replied, her voice breaking. "But wanting and doing are different things." When Daniel came home that evening, Emma told him what she'd done. He didn't argue, only nodded, though his expression was unreadable. "It's for the best," he said. "For all of us." The next day, Lily packed her things. There were no dramatic goodbyes, no tearful scenes, just quiet hugs and long, heavy stares. When she turned to Daniel, she hesitated. "Thank you," she murmured. "For everything." He only nodded, his jaw tight, his eyes glistening. After Lily left, the house felt emptier than ever. Emma expected to feel relief, but instead there was only silence, a deep ache that echoed in every room. Daniel tried to reach out, cooking dinner, leaving flowers on her desk, brushing her shoulder as he passed. Small gestures of love that once meant everything, but now barely reached her heart. At night, Emma lay awake, listening to the sound of the rain against the windows. Her mind replayed every moment, The laughter, the glances, the confession. She wondered if forgiveness was even possible, or if trust, once cracked, could ever be whole again. A week later, a letter arrived in the mail. The handwriting was familiar, Lily's. Emma opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a simple note. I fell for him, not because I wanted to, but because he showed me what love was supposed to feel like. But he never crossed a line, Emma. He loves you. Thank you for saving me, even when it cost you something precious. Tears streamed down Emma's face as she folded the letter. For the first time, she understood. Daniel hadn't betrayed her. He had obeyed her request too well. She had asked him to help Lily heal, and he had done just that, even if it nearly destroyed them. Weeks passed after Lily's departure, and though the house was quieter, the silence no longer carried tension, only the dull ache of what had been lost. Emma and Daniel lived carefully around each other, as if afraid one wrong word could reopen old wounds. They shared space, but not closeness. Love was still there, hidden beneath the hurt, waiting for a reason to breathe again. One evening, Emma sat alone in the backyard, holding Lily's letter. The paper had been folded and unfolded so many times it was soft at the edges. She read the lines again, and this time, they didn't sting. They soothed. For the first time, Emma saw the situation not as betrayal, but as sacrifice. Daniel had done what she'd asked. He had given compassion to a broken soul. He had been patient when she couldn't be, and gentle when Lily needed it most. When Daniel joined her outside, the golden light of sunset washed over them both. "You've been quiet lately," he said softly, sitting beside her. "I've been thinking," she admitted. "About what happened. About how we got here." She took a breath, her voice trembling. "You did exactly what I asked you to, didn't you?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, but I didn't realize how much it would hurt you. Or me." "I thought I was helping, Emma. I thought I was protecting what mattered to you." Emma looked at him. Really looked. The man beside her wasn't the villain she had painted in her pain. He was the same steady, kind man who had once carried her through every storm. "You did protect what mattered to me," she said quietly. "You protected her, and in a strange way. That was love too." Daniel reached for her hand, hesitant, as though afraid she would pull away. But she didn't. Their fingers intertwined, fragile, trembling, but real. "I don't expect forgiveness," he whispered. "I just want us back." "You already have me," she said, tears filling her eyes. "I just forgot how to see you through the pain." That night, for the first time in months, they talked. Really talked. They spoke of fears, regrets, and the distance that had grown between them long before Lily ever came. The storm had only revealed what was already fragile. And as the night deepened, they found themselves holding each other, not to erase the past, but to begin again. Months later, the doorbell rang. Lily stood there, different, radiant, confident, her smile real this time. "I came to say thank you," she said. "To both of you." Emma hugged her tightly. No resentment, no jealousy, only relief. "You look happy," Emma said. "I am," Lily replied, "because you taught me what real love looks like. It's not perfect. It's forgiveness." As Lily drove away, Emma turned to Daniel. The sun was setting again, casting warm light across their faces. "Maybe that's what we needed," she said softly. "To lose each other a little. So we'd learn how to hold on better." Daniel smiled faintly. "Then let's never stop learning." And as they stood hand in hand, the house no longer felt haunted by secrets, only filled with quiet, enduring love that had survived the hardest test of all: honesty.